What it do, world? What it do, world? What it do, world? We back at it, baby. All right, let's see why this is. All right, there we go. Yeah. Shalom, brothers and sisters around the world. Hope everybody's doing good. Yeah. Yeah, we just tapping in real quick. It's it is a new day. What I'm doing is I'm just sharing it out to everybody. Get everybody more active, involved. I guess I've figured I'll start doing some of these videos I keep coming across. And I'm like, you know what? Let me get this together. I think it's a beautiful thing. So, how's everybody doing out there? Hope all is well. We are all day, every day. Bringing the news to the nation to inform everybody, keep everybody involved of what's going on out there in the world. Because it's a lot. And so, shout out to everybody out there right now. I got people tapped in on Instagram Live, YouTube Live, Facebook, um, TikTok, Twitter, X. I got a lot of people all over the place tapping in right now. So I appreciate all you guys coming through. We got a lot of stuff going on. It is the first day we in the spring now, baby. Where birds and the bees is blossoming and everything is growing. Hope that you're growing and doing the work that you need to do to show thyself approved so you can be in a better mind, body, and spirit. So trying to knock out a little bit of this reverb. It's a little bit, I don't want to sound too, but it sounds like I'm in a cathedral, but it sounds lovely. I ain't mad at it. But yeah, man, I got so much I wanted to share with you guys, man. What I started doing is I realized that I had so much information and resources available to me, and I felt like it was like the only right thing to do was like bless everybody with it, getting more people involved. And then shout out to everybody supporting the channel. People see my Cash App, all that. So more of that information is coming this way. But yeah, I just wanted to tap in and let everybody know what's going on right now around the world. Some of the people on TikTok that can't see exactly what I'm about to show, because I need to get over 10,000 subscribers. I need you guys to go ahead and tap and let everybody know what's going on, just to kind of keep building the channel up, because I definitely want to keep uh, staying consistent on this and informing, everybody from young to old, just about what's going on out there in the world. I think it's just important that we stay informed about what's going on. And for me, I just felt like it was the right thing to just get myself up and rise and grind, baby. So, yeah, we are about to step. This is 2024. We're about to step into Aries. I know that a lot of stuff has been going on, the weather, uh, political, society, every state. So I want to kind of do a fast track of bringing news from around the world to everybody. Um, I guess just for my own information too, and so hopefully you guys can take something from it, and utilize it however you need to. So I guess we'll just, you know, start the show. But yeah, anybody who want to chime in and tap in anytime, like I said, I can. Let me put this down here. Uh, People that want to join, I think it's always can't put in to some channels. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, so yeah, Facebook and we got Facebook and YouTube. So the link went out. So got plenty of people out there that want to chime in on any of the conversation or the topics that we got. Let me know. So we'll just get right to it, I guess, and I'll just, man, I got so many tabs I didn't even realize. But I guess I'll start out with my main one because that one had a lot of information and wanted to make sure that I inform everybody on that. But so what we got going on right now is sharing a window. Okay, that's me sharing that. I'm figuring it out. So let's see. Yeah, we got a lot of people who are doing the whole getting back in the drug game and doing stuff, getting themselves caught up. Stop doing the stupid stuff to get yourself caught up. Stop doing the stupid stuff to get yourself caught up. And so they got cameras everywhere, and they waiting on you to do something, drastically waiting on you to do something. They can't wait till you mess up, and you getting people, this is an election year, and you got people who are definitely trying to start some stuff. So let me know if you guys can actually see my page. I'm trying to share it right now. So let me see 1 second. I know I got my other screen on. Actually see my page. I'm trying to share it. Nope. So I don't see it. And others don't see it either. So if that is the case, then I need to backtrack it up and go back to what I was doing. So let me bring that back out. I know everybody like, what are you doing? What are you doing? No, don't trip. I got you. So with that being said, hopefully y'all can see this one right here. Let me make it bigger so you guys can see it. All right, let's see. So you guys can see that? Can't tell, at least from mine. So we're working this out. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. So what I'm not seeing and what my peoples are not seeing is the videos that I'm uploading. So I think that is important for me to view tab. Let's see if that works. Oh, boom, there you go. So yeah, we got that going. Let me go back to me for a minute. A lot of these companies are homies, you know, and because of that, you're getting tag teamed. You're getting. Uh, okay, there we go. All right, we back in action. I don't know why I did that, but I just wanted to bring my face back in. But with these companies, these corporations, they tag team against us. So just as much as you got this company, opioids. Now think about a company, DuPont, that deals with these 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 plastics or these coatings. These coatings came from military wars, pretty much. Anything that was used in war was pretty much transitioned and commercialized. So what they were using to coat the tanks, as I said before, was the same product that they were using to coat your jackets, your containers, even your food pans and pots. So when you're scraping and you're cooking and stuff like that, and you just happen to have a fork or something like that, a knife, and you just scrape along the bottom of it while you're cooking. You just cooking. Not realizing that you just scraped off a shard of that same contaminant, and it's in your food, and you just ate it. And how many times that you did that to where now it's like, oh, why I got this big old knot in my neck now? And they're like, oh, we don't know how you got that neck. And then these companies are so ironclad that you can't even sue them. They've made it that hard for you. Why? Because you've given permission. In America, we give our permissions away. You give your constitutional rights and your civil liberties away for the convenience. What's good? Shalom Taylor from Idaho, all the way from Idaho. I got some news from Idaho too. What's up? We got everybody, man. Keep sharing, y'all. Appreciate y'all. With these companies being able to attack you in such a diabolical way of thinking that, oh, we are American jobs and all of these things. Yeah, all right. But you're working for a horrible wage. You're working for a company that doesn't appreciate you. You have no room for excelling. And you work for this company for 20, 30 years. 20, 30 years. And you done gave them your life. You done gave them everything. And then you end up jacked up after it. And you're like, man, you ain't got no recompensation for it, but you don't even know what you got yourself into. You didn't look at the details when you got yourself involved into it. So because of that, that becomes, oh yeah, for sure. I'll be out there. When it comes to your ability to, I want to say this, when you conform to these particular type of companies and not know the fine print, and that's coming from manufacturing, and there's so many manufacturing companies around the whole country, around the whole world, in these random places that people don't know about and stuff like that. And I've been to 46 states. What's going on, Mama? Shalom. Been a long time. Yes, it is. I'm here, baby. Tell everybody. Share it. Shout out to everybody around the world, man. I love y'all, man. I got people around the whole world vouching for me, man. And I'm here to bring it to y'all. I ain't gonna sugarcoat it. I ain't gonna be hard on y'all, but I ain't gonna take it easy. Why? Because none of this oppression took it easy. It didn't take it easy. It wasn't nice. It wasn't soft. It wasn't comforting. It wasn't It wasn't nothing. So what I have to do is be Ezekiel 33. I have to be Ezekiel 33 and sound the alarm and blow the trumpets. So back to what I was talking about with these companies, they tag team you. So what DuPont did is they put all of this stuff in the ground and it was busting. And the guy was like trying to figure out, hey, why is this happening? Because it was brought to his attention. Then you see these companies, I know I'm gonna get back to this. You see the simple fact that when you got something like that happening, you got the homie coming around like, hey, homie, I can take care of that. I'm so sorry you are going through this. How can we help you? And when they do that, all you do is give permission for them to take advantage of whatever you got. There's no hustler's remorse. Shout out to Denise Johnson, rest in peace. Ain't no hustler's remorse. They ain't got no, everybody who getting a paycheck, they ain't got no remorse. Why? Because they getting paid. And if they're getting paid, they're going to do what they got to do, homie. So because of that mentality, because it's been built off of that, because we have lived in such a cannibalistic, carnivorous, barbaric, colonialized system, we have capitulated to these forms that have taken us away from our true essence as who we are. So let me get back to what I was doing. But these companies tag team you. And what they do is that when one poisons you, the other one gives you the hustle that they can actually come and take care of you and make sure that you're good. So when you got companies like this that they got their little hustle on the side and they get their little connections and stuff like that. Oh, we got them drugs that'll help you out and stuff like that. The moment you take any of these pills, you are addicted, you are hooked. And they know this is a slow hook. This is a slow hook to be able to get your system completely used and accommodating for these things. Everything that can cure you is grown out of the ground. I'm going to say it again. Well, majority of everything that is grown out of the ground can cure you. Some things can kill you. You can get things mixed up. There's potatoes that are good for you, and there's potatoes that can actually kill you out there. So you need to be able to understand and distinguish and discern these different things. But anyways, I'm gonna go back to this. So back to the formerly Amerisource Burgeon. Remember that. To resolve the opioid crisis litigation in Alabama on Thursday, the case was successfully resolved after more than a year and a half of litigation in Montgomery County Circuit Court. The terms of the agreement for the Cardinal and Sincora to pay $220 million in abatement funds over 10 years instead of the maximum of $180 over 18 years offered in federal multi-district litigation. See, that's crazy. The moment they settle, that means that you're guilty. You're a silent guilty person. You're a silent guilty corporation, knowing that these people were sitting here fighting for crumbs. You went through 10 years of agony and misery, your body breaking down, all of this, and they're still taking their products, thinking that that someday it's going to change and turn a new leaf. When all it's doing is you're enabling it. You're enabling them to kill you. It's like you're getting choked out by Debo. Go to sleep. Cardinal and Sincora will also pay fees and costs for the state's counsel. This allows the state to direct all settlement funds to opioid abatement. In a previous opioid settlement, the state will share the settlement funds with local governments and public hospitals. The state's portions of the settlement funds will be deposited directly into the state's general fund. While this settlement cannot bring back those lost to this devastating epidemic, it represents a historic opportunity to ameliorate the harm that opioid abuse has caused in our communities, Alabama Attorney General Steve Marshall said. Our team worked tirelessly to ensure that the state received a fair and just outcome, and we hope that this settlement will serve as a step towards healing and recovering our communities. All that we're going to do is give them more money to buy more drugs. That's all it's doing. Y'all done already damaged the country. Y'all have damaged the world. You guys have literally damaged. Like, ain't no coming back after 10 years. 10 years, you were jacked up. You're jacked up after 10 years. 10 years, you didn't even, how did you get better? Did your body heal? What's going on? Did your doctors give you any solutions on how to curved it off. You know, that's interesting when you really think about that with the medical professions. These people get paid through these opioid companies, millions of kickbacks. So yeah, it's an easy job to become a legal drug dealer or a legal killer or yeah, you're a legal drug dealer. And from that, you have no moral compass. And that's pretty much every profession when you really think about it. So you can see how bad Babylon has gotten. Orange juice. I just wanted to highlight on that because you guys did this. You evil people did this to your own self. You try to do it to us. Y'all tried to do it to us. That was not going to work. Y'all really tried to do it to us. Nipa, thank you, baby. Appreciate you. And they really tried to do this to us, trying to really harm our people around the world. And thinking that we got away from our natural essence, our natural holistic meanings of who we are. So because of that, we have to get back to that. We have to get back to who we are. And that is people of this earth. We are the original people of this earth. All praise to the Most High. Whoa, that sound feel good. Anyways, let's move on to the next. State Medicaid offices target dead people's home to recoup their health care costs. So check this out. I'm gonna read it before I get there. All right. Let me say it again. State Medicaid offices. There are anybody out there on Social Security, anybody out there on Medicaid, Medicare, pay attention. State Medicaid offices target dead people's homes to recoup their health care costs. So you got plenty of people out here who they're finding ways to squeeze all of your toothpaste out. Whatever you had, they're trying to take it and put it back in a Monopoly box. Literally. And most people's families ain't caring. Most people's families ain't talking and ain't communicating. Everybody ain't in love and stuff like that. So people find themselves in situations where they all alone in these big old houses. They got nobody to care from, nobody to take care of them, and they just start piling up, getting dirty and dusty. You know, they become a hoarder. It's whole houses like this that be having a whole bunch of junk inside of them. I know. I used to clean houses. Very humbling. Very humbling. And so they're coming after y'all. So let me read. As Salvatore Lo Grande fought cancer and all the pain that came with it, his daughter promised to keep him in the white pitched roof house he worked so hard to buy all those decades ago. So you didn't work your whole life to do all of this. Pay attention, people. You did all this work. You fighting cancer, you know, they're like, these people are not compassionate. They're compassionate because they're getting a check. There's no hustler's remorse. These people ain't got that. They going back to their house while you sitting there in agony. That's how much we have demoralized our humanity now at this point. You don't even have the essence no more. That's how bad Jacob's trouble was. It made us all that way. So Sandy La Grande thought it was a mistake when, a year after her father's death, Massachusetts billed her $177,000 for her father's Medicaid expenses and threatened to sue for his home if she didn't pay up quickly. You see how they did you? You see how they just try to Debo? What you got on my 40, homie? What you got on my 40, homie? You're going to have to cough it up right now. We're going to come and knock on your door, and you're going to have to pay up quickly. They trying to jack y'all for everything y'all got right now. They're trying to jack you for everything you got. The house ain't got nothing to do with the Medicaid expenses or anything like that. But for some reason, these always get caught up in the financial litigations of, oh, if I can't get it this way, then I can cipher it off another direction. I can cipher it off. I can freeze your assets and all these accounts. Like, nah, homie. Mm-mm. Especially if you ain't been doing nothing wrong and you actually been a stand-up citizen. You've been doing all the work you needed to do. You ain't bother nobody. You built yourself a beautiful home for your family, your legacy. And then right after you gone, everybody chases you down to take everything you got. Wow. They don't love you. They love you until you're dead. They love you after you're dead. Because why? You can't do nothing. You can't say nothing. You can't speak about nothing you're going through. You can't. You can't do nothing. You gone. And it really comes down to relying on the people that say they love you of what they're gonna do. Yeah, they said they loved my father, but they took everything he had. Yeah, took everything, stole it. Felt privileged, entitled to somebody else's thing. Like, you ain't got to do no work. You can just come up off of somebody else. That's how easy and lazy and how disgusting it has gotten. Not only here, but around the whole world, where you ain't got to work. You could just do something really evil and try to come up, get rich quick schemes. Anyways, the home was everything. Her father said, but the bill and accompanying threat weren't a mistake. Rather, it was a part of a routine process. The federal government, see, the federal government is the Gestapo. They are going to knock on your door and they're going to take everything you thought that you had ever had. Oh. So, yeah, be mindful of that, people. So, rather, it was part of a federal routine process the federal government requires of every state. I didn't know that. Rather, let me read it again. Rather, it was a part of a routine process the federal government requires every state to recover money from the assets of dead people who, in their final years, relied on Medicaid. So it ain't even like, okay, let me finish. Medicaid, the taxpayer funded health insurance for the poorest Americans. So, taxpayer funded health insurance to pay for the poorest Americans. You understand that there's a lot of people coming over the border right now. There's a lot of migrants, and there are a lot of people that are getting fake everything to become an American citizen now. They have babies at an alarming rate now. The hospitals are open. Let me finish. No, I'm off. Y'all about to get this work, man. I'm not gonna play with none of y'all no more. Y'all need to hear this stuff. I need to. Yeah, we're gonna learn something new every day. So the money that you were getting, that you've been paying out, is paying for people to actually be lazy, for people to actually not get up and work, people to not actually get up and take care of themselves. They're relying on you to take care of themselves for you, for them. Like, they could just lean all on you like Bill Withers. Lean on me when you're not strong. Now you just gonna lean all the way up on the system. Like, you ain't gonna get up and do nothing about what you got going on. Now, I'm only speaking to the people that take advantage of these systems, that truly take advantage of these systems in a very bad way. Not the people who really need it. The people that really need it, we need it. None of these systems all of these systems are oxymoronic. You can't have a loop and a hole. You can't have a loop and a hole. It doesn't make sense. Loophole. Ouroboros, the snake that eats itself. What goes around comes around. So everybody's getting damaged in this whole capacity. Anyways, rather, it was part of a routine process the federal government required of every state to recover money from the assets of dead people who, in their final years, relied on Medicaid, the taxpayer-funded health insurance for the poorest Americans. A person's home is typically exempt from qualifying for Medicaid, but it is subject to the estate recovery process for those who were over 55 and used Medicaid to pay for long-term care, such as nursing home stays, or in-home health care. Wow. This month, the Democratic lawmaker proposed scuttling the cruel program altogether. Critics argue the program collects too little, roughly 1%, of the more than $150 billion Medicaid spends yearly on long-term care. They also say many states fail to warn people who sign up for Medicaid that big bills and claims to their property might await their families once they die. They not gonna tell you this stuff, man. I'm telling you right now, they're not gonna tell you this stuff. They're not gonna put this in front of you and make this make sense. They're not gonna tell you that the decision that you make to rely on them is gonna come back and detrimentally affect your family and your community altogether. Nothing in America is free. Everything comes with a backhand apology. Nothing in America is free. It all comes with a backhand apology. LeGrande says that's how she ended up in a 2-year legal battle with Massachusetts after her father died. Several years before he died in 2016, she had turned to a local nonprofit for advice on caring for her elderly father. The group suggested she sign him up for Medicaid. See, you got everybody's the homie. They getting paid. They ain't not gonna give you. They gonna give you. That's gonna be their only choice. They're gonna give you. They ain't gonna give you nothing. Why? Because again, you getting kickbacks. Everybody getting a kickback. The kickback. So they can sit there and go to work and do the easiest work that they can possibly get themselves away with. People love doing the bare minimum at work. People hate a hard worker. People hated me on my job because I was working so hard. Why are you jogging through the stores? Why are you doing push-ups and stuff like that out of nowhere? People don't like people who work hard because then you show out. You show your ass. And so when you find yourself in that position, what can you do? Because you become a mirror image of what they should become, which is step your game up, homie. Step your game up. Hold on 1 second, y'all. I got messages came in. 1 second. I didn't realize that I had followed that many. Okay. I don't know why that wasn't on. Anyways. Okay. So, yeah. Local nonprofit for advising her on care for her elderly father. The group suggests that she sign him up for Medicaid. She even remembers asking about the house, but was assured the state would only seek the house if it sent her father to a nursing home. This is almost like the the movie I Care a Lot with Peter Dinklage. What are you talking about? Why y'all messing with me? Now look at TikTok. Why TikTok trying to mess with me? Anyways, they all trying to mess with us. So let's see, where was that? See how I get just messed with? He never would have signed on with anything that would put his home in jeopardy, she said. Well, you the one asked for the suggestion. He wouldn't have signed him up, but you did. You see, people ain't taking all the way full responsibility and accountability for certain things like this. See, be mindful. I wasn't finna put my mama in no convalescent hospital. No. You stay here. I'll take care of you wherever you need. For years, her father got an annual renewal notice from the state's Medicaid office. She says it wasn't until after his death, when the state's demand for $177,000 arrived, that she saw the first bill for his care, which included a brief stint in the hospital for pain from cancer, medications, and hospice. That's what ripped my guts out. Look, it was dishonest. The state settled with the Legrandis in 2019 and released its claim on the house. See, you gotta fight, people. If you don't fight and you let them debo you, they're gonna get their way. The system was rigged. They're gonna get their way if you don't fight, and if you don't come together and put yourself in a position to fight. Yes, they're gonna take everything from you and everybody else. So this is the part where you gotta get more educated. Excuse me. State policies around this recovery process vary widely. According to a 2021 report from the Medicaid and CHIP Payment and Access Commission, which makes policy recommendations to Congress, some states will put a legal right on a home while others don't. Meanwhile, some Medicaid offices try to recoup all medical costs from patients, like doctor visits and prescriptions, while others just pursue the cost for long-term care. Alaska and Arizona pursued just dozens of properties in recent years, while other states go after thousands of homes, totaling hundreds of millions of dollars. So everything that you were working on and building up from, you get any help from any state, they're coming after you. This is literally the monopoly board. Go to jail, don't pass go, don't collect $200. That's literally what this comes down to be right now, y'all. New York and Ohio top the country for such collections, recovering more than $100 million combined in a single year. Man. And litigation into the Kansas program, released Tuesday by the Health and Human Services Inspector General, found that program was cost-effective, yielding $37 million while only spending $5 million to recover the money. But the state didn't always collect the money from estates that were eligible. So who's taking these homes? Who's holding these homes? So the medical professions, Medicaid, they got their own asset management company now, their own real estate firm now. They're giving them back to the banks now. Like, y'all just sitting on this property as an extra come up. Are you using these houses as houses that could be helpful for the next amount of people, creating these places that would be platforms, so it doesn't become that straining on people? But no, y'all take them away. Y'all just literally rip everything from people. An investigation into Kansas program released Tuesday by the Health and Human Service Inspector General found that program was cost effective. All right, I read that. Last month, Foundation for one of the industry's biggest health insurance giants called on Massachusetts to overhaul its process, which includes collecting reimbursement for most Medicaid costs beyond the federal government's minimum requirement to recover long-term care expenses. The Blue Cross Blue Shield Foundation of Massachusetts recommended the state legislature pass a law that would prohibit those additional collections. Yeah, because that's crazy. I mean, It's hard from the other side of it. I don't care about the other side because y'all don't care. Y'all would take a person's arm and leg. Y'all would take their house, everything they worked for, and that extra stress, like, oh no, I built up everything and I just lost everything. Oh my God, they're taking everything I got. Then you wind up in a situation where you stressed out. Now your problems are getting more exacerbated. Now you find yourself in a really sticky situation where you can't dig yourself out of. Man, you people did this. Estate recovery has the potential to perpetuate wealth disparities and intergenerational poverty. A Medicaid policy director with the foundation, Catherine Howard. Some of these people don't ever make sense what they talk about. But in Tennessee, which recovered more than $38 million from more than 8,100 estates last year, they just jacking people. They literally just jacking everybody for everything they got. That's crazy. Imani Umfalmi found herself in a similar predicament after her mother's death in 2021. As her mother's early onset Alzheimer's worsened, Umfalmi continued to care for her. But in 2015, when Umfalmi was diagnosed with breast cancer and needed a double mastectomy, she started looking at other options. She hosted a meeting in her mother's home with the local Medicaid office. The representative told her to drain her mother's bank accounts, money Umfalmi poured into assisted living facility payments for her mom so her mother would qualify for the program. So they're making you yank out everything you got to go into these places that like kill you. You know what I'm saying? Like to go into these facilities and you're not going in there to come out better. Like there needs to be facilities where you can be able to recuperate, not deteriorate. These places are not set up like that. Anyways, she recalls being somewhat offended during the meeting after the representative asked her 3 times, "This is your mother's home?" The representative, see how they hustling? Man, that's great. Ain't got no hustler's remorse. They go in there, all these business meetings. Look at all of these companies' business meetings, and they be private, dog. You don't even know what they saying. So when person's getting up in your face, they only banking off of what information you're giving them. So they can be able to utilize it to their discretion to be able to take that back into perspective and then utilize it and then take everything that you've ever built. The fact that they're just walking around your home and just like, oh, this is your mother's home? Oh, this looks beautiful. Oh my goodness, I want everything in here. She doesn't need it anymore. Oh, she's gonna die. That's the non-compassionate people got. Shalom, beloved. She recalls somewhat offended during a meeting after the representative asked her, yeah, I can understand that, being offended. Like, what does this have to do with what I'm trying to build up right now? Now Tennessee's Medicaid office says she owes $225,000, and the state is seeking a court order that would require Umfalmi to sell the house to pay it. So to pay this raggedy bill that you got conned into, they want to kick you out of your house. Wow. 42. She says she wants to pay what she can, but the house is a particular pain point. Her mother, a Black woman, purchased her dream home in Knoxville after she won a landmark discrimination lawsuit against her former employer, Boeing, for paying her less than her male counterparts, her male coworkers. That's amazing that you can sit here and be working and don't get nothing in return. Thank you, beloved. She fought hard for equal pay and equal rights. Shout out to the woman. You know what I'm saying? Get that money, especially if you're working harder than the dudes on the job. If you're working harder than the dudes on the job, then it's like that. It don't matter. It don't matter if you're Black or white. It don't matter if you're male, female, none of that stuff. It should be an even, equal playing field. And the cream of the crop will rise to the top. When you got it rigged for the last place loser, yeah, it's not going to work. She fought hard for equal pay. Just to see that ripped away just because she was sick and I was sick, it's just absolutely devastating. So when you find yourself in these situations where you are, health-wise deficient, you find yourself like, man, wrapped up in a really bad situation. TennCare, Tennessee's Medicaid office, said in an email to the Associated Press that it would not comment on specific cases. Y'all not gonna comment. Y'all never will. Why would you want to comment and shoot yourself in the foot, knowing that y'all do judgment is upon all of y'all. I'm gonna say it again. Judgment is upon all of y'all, and y'all gonna feel this burn. Y'all think that y'all can just sit there? All these people that are professionals, putting on your suits and ties and your nice little pearls, and getting out there trying to champion for change and all these things. No, you're not. No, you're not. The Medicaid and Chip Payment and Access Commission's report recommended that Congress reverse the 1993 law that requires states to recover money from assets instead of making it optional. Early this month, Democratic Representative Jan Schakowsky of Illinois reintroduced legislation that would end the federal government's mandate. Schakowsky believed the rule is a losing proposition for families who give up their homes and taxpayers who don't see big returns from the recovery efforts. No, you're not going to get nothing. You're literally just giving it away just to give it away. And because you're giving it away, they're going to do whatever they want with it frivolously. It's one of the most cruel and ineffective programs that we see. This is a program that doesn't work for anybody. It is a gridlock Congress. Congress is always gridlock. When does Congress ever get anything done? It seems like they're on lunch breaks more than they are actually putting pen to paper. They're busy giving slow Joe Biden all of these extra little boo-boo claps. Yeah, it's gridlock. Where some Republicans are clamoring to trim Medicaid entitlements, the bill is unlikely to garner the bipartisan support needed to become law. There's at least one person who acknowledges the rule isn't working, the man who engineered it. Many people, you engineered it. So you created a monster because you wanted to get paid. Why not create something beautiful and get paid? Why do you have to create a monster? Why were you so enticed, enamored, encouraged, excited to want to create a monster? And now you want to come back and be like, oh, it ain't working. You knew it wasn't. You knew that it wasn't. When people put your feet to the fire and you're oppressed in these positions, you find yourself wanting to do more than you thought you would ever do. Then that's the challenge of your moral compass. Who are you? Many people don't know about the decades-old mandate, which was intended to encourage people to save for long-term care or risk losing the equity from their home. So you got to work all of this time to save up money to pay extreme amounts when you get older. So even in the process of thinking that you're going to enjoy the home, and it was crazy that most families are not actually building communities where they can actually sufficiently suppress these type of issues. If a whole family was living on a whole block and grandma got sick, she ain't got to go to no convalescent hospital. She ain't got to go to no long-term care facility. Don't put grandma in the back house, but build something on the property. Have a piece of property and bury your family on that land. That is your land. There's laws for that. Why is there laws? Don't know. Don't care. It's mine. This land is my land. It's not your land. Genesis 15:13. No, of a surety, you will be removed from a land that does not belong to you. You will be removed from a land that does not belong to you. So get that correct, though. Let's finish this off. Many people don't know about the decades of man. All right, I read that. And the plan here was to ensure that people who needed long-term care can get it, but that you plan ahead to be able to pay privately so you don't end up on the public health care program. You know how hard that is when you ain't got nothing? You know how many people ain't got nothing? And you sufficiently like con them into these things, like you just get strong armed. Your whole family gets strong armed because you literally looking for a Jesus to come and save you. You're looking for a Jesus. I need my Jesus. Where's my Jesus? Let me get this together. My bad, y'all. But let me make sure I got this together. So on to the next. But I just want my elderly people to pay attention to something like that, because that's really serious. You don't think it is, but it is until it is. So, hold on 1 second. Let's go back over here and do this part right here. Oh, y'all, 1 second, y'all. All right. Oh, somebody. Got more news for y'all. More news. We're right here, y'all. I ain't going nowhere. Gotta make sure my phone is charging. I don't know why it's tripping, but there we go. Turn it sideways, and I'm running sideways this way, that way. So it's back to it. Let me see where we at with it. So yeah, we got a whole bunch of stuff going on right now. Let me get back to it. A huge wave of housing inventory hits the market in February as the lock-in effect eases. So yeah, you got people losing their houses. You got things that are like coming back and rearing their ugly head. You know, people that took all those furloughs when the when the whole world shut down. That's because you got people trying to get that hustle spree, that COVID hustle spree. That was a sweepstakes that people were trying to take advantage of, and they were like, "Oh, we got to get our money back. Well, we lost our this created a big hiccup in our what we were doing." And so, you've seen landlords jack up mortgage rates. You've seen banks made it every company, every corporation out there made it so drastically horrible for anybody to do anything and make anything or be anybody. High mortgage rates, elevated home prices, and tight inventory have kept many Americans sidelined from the housing market since the pandemic. However, the lock-in effect, current owners being unwilling to move or refinance at higher rates, is showing signs of easing as more sellers begin to put their homes up for sale. Yeah. Because everything is collapsing. People ain't being able to afford what they overindulged in. They didn't realize that 2020 hit them and that was a big oopsie daisy in what they were doing. They were sitting there paying for these trips and all of this, and everything's on the credit card and everything like that. And then whoop, all your money gets shut down and you can't do nothing after that. Yeah, you get put in that position. Then you like scrambling around, and then your old job that you thought that you had that you can go back to, they cut you loose. So now you've been sitting there accumulating all of the stuff, as well as stressed out and health-wise being affected. I knew this stuff was about to happen. It was a major super collapse. And people, they had home prices so freaking stupid high. $1 million homes for something raggedy. Paying $2,000 for 400 square studio. Are you kidding me? Yeah. So this is what y'all was doing. Shame on y'all. So let's go ahead and go back to it. Zillow data out Thursday showed new listings of existing homes jumped 20.8% in February compared to the same time in 2023 and climbed to 20.3% month over month. Just skyrocketed, just taking off like SpaceX in your pocketbook. Not only that, but homeowners survey suggests an increasing share of homeowners expect to sell in the next 3 years, which suggests some households may be done waiting for rates to drop before they wade back into the market. So people willing to just say, forget it. I don't even care what it is. I'm willing to take my loss. I don't want these responsibilities no more. I don't want these headaches. I got to sit here and fix this plumbing. Like the tornado just jacked up. Man, are you kidding me? Let's get real with it. You're talking about all the crazy weather that had happened over the last 4 years that jacked up all of these people's homes. You're talking about tornadoes, the biggest tornadoes just ripping through everybody's stuff. And you probably had like 5 more payments on your house and it's gone. That's what happened. This is the stuff that happened in every state. People were losing all of what they had. Zillow reported that total inventory in February climbed 3.4% from January, and that there were 12% more active listings last month compared to a year ago. So people are panicking. People stressed out. They can't. Bought all those ATVs and off-road and all type of stuff. Now they like, forget this house. I need to go live in a bunker. They want to go live in South Dakota in a bunker. South Dakota has less than 1 million people live out there, 900,000 to be exact. I think it's the least amount of people that live in a state. But it's bunker central. Inventories grew in most of Dallas, Tampa, Orlando, and rose in 33 of the largest 50 U.S. markets. On average, 30-year fixed mortgage edged higher to 7.02%. That's crazy. You're gonna be paying 25% in interest rate. That's crazy. Yeah, I see. Hey, y'all better stuff. It may not be that high, but hey, even if mortgage rates decline this year, strategists and economics aren't anticipating a tick in home buying activity. In fact, they don't foresee an end in sight for rising prices in the near term, forecasting a 5% jump in house prices in 2024 above the consensus 3%. Even if mortgage rates fall to 6% as we expect, mortgage rate lock-in will continue to curb home moves. As a result, we only anticipate a trickle of new resale supply coming onto the market within the next few years. And that's because of people owning property and owning homes. You know, these people got what they got and said, forget everybody else. I don't care about nobody else. I don't care. Yeah. We live in a very world right now, very weird. And that's what they're doing. Let's go on to the next one. So yeah, what's up, California? Another $100 billion needed to complete California's bullet train project. Where's the $100 million. Where's $100 billion? That's a B. That's a billion with a B. Where are you getting $100 billion from? It would be needed to complete a bullet train connecting Los Angeles to San Francisco. Okay. All of these things that people keep saying is keep aspiring to do, all these things, that ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen like how y'all want it to happen, how y'all think it's supposed to happen. Why? Because you guys are no longer in the blessing. And you just can't think that this all will allow you to be able to take advantage of getting away with all of these things and not have anybody involved or contribute in any capacity with all of this stuff. So no, this stuff ain't finna come to fruition because the people who are of this land, you didn't include them. So anything that y'all thought that y'all can sit here and do and build, it's not gonna come to fruition. Let's see if we can. Let's try this out. Let me know if y'all can hear this. Hmm. Not one black person in there. Mm-mm. Hmm. Okay. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That's what it is. That's what it is. Y'all got bright line. How many bright line? How many bright line accidents then happen in Florida? So many. You know, we don't take a lot of these things into consideration. You see every trail derailment. Do you remember East Palestine? Do you not remember? People, none of these things that y'all think that y'all can aspire to do are going to work. None of it's going to work. Why? Because it's not blessed. And for one, the chosen ones are not involved in it. So, no, everything y'all do and everything y'all touch is going to be a complete wreck, chaotic mess. It is what it is. What a massive legal settlement means for the future of home buying. Uh, Things are about to get weird for home buyers and sellers. Uh, I wrote last year in 20, that 2024 would mark the big experiment in real estate that would upend the way agents. Well, the experiment officially got underway Friday when the National Association of Realtors agreed to a $418 million settlement to bring to an end a series of class action lawsuits over agent commissions. The settlement came after a years-long battle in which hundreds of thousands of sellers claimed that they were forced into paying unfairly high commissions to real estate agents. In addition to the monetary penalties, the agreement could enable more buyers and sellers to start negotiating those commissions, which for decades have hovered between 5 and 6% of the sale price. Man, they was getting some money. The deal could also push more buyers to forego hiring an agent or work out an alternative payment structure. These changes spread out over millions of transactions a year, have a chance to reshape the housing market. Some industry observers have predicted that the new commission rules could lead to a drop in both home prices and commissions. Buyers could even save as much as $30 billion every year. A recent working paper from the Federal Reserve Bank of Richmond estimated, but there's also a possibility that the Department of Justice decides this settlement goes far enough, which could set up a showdown between the NAR and the DOJ. In other words, while the real estate revolution is underway, this thing is far from over. To grasp the scope of the settlement, it helps to understand how agents are paid. In most home sales, the seller uses a chunk of the final sale price to pay out the agents on both sides of the transaction. When a seller lists their home on the multiple listing service, a database of local homes for sale where agents go to find homes to show clients, they advertise how much they are willing to pay the buyer's agent. For decades, sellers have generally offered buyer agents 2 to 3% of the final sale price, even though they can technically offer as little as $0. That's because sellers fear that if they offer less than the industry standard, buyers agents will direct their clients away from their homes, a practice called steering. Don't offer the standard rate, don't get seen. To fix this issue, the plaintiffs in the lawsuit and the Department of Justice have pushed for a practice called decoupling, in which buyers and sellers just pay their agents separately. They argue that this would eliminate steering and push down commissions, saving people money and perhaps forcing any subpar agents out of the industry. A lot of agents are already barely scraping by, and their earnings fall. If their earnings fall, they might decide to exit the business altogether. The newly announced settlement doesn't go quite that far. While sellers will no longer be required to say how much they're offering a buyer's agent when they list their homes on the MLS, they're not expressly prohibited from offering that compensation somewhere else. It just can't be anywhere on the MLS. There will likely be 1,000 workarounds. A buyer's agent could just call up the seller's agent and ask what commission they'll get, or the listing agent could advertise the commission tied to the home on their website. In theory, a seller might still offer compensation to a buyer's agent because they want to get as many offers as possible on their home. If you're a seller and you don't offer anything, then a buyer who wants your home will have to pay their agent out of pocket. And a lot of cash-strapped buyers simply can't do that. In some cases, sellers still might feel pressure to offer the going rate. So the agent's commission could end up looking pretty much the same as it does today. On the other side, we're likely to see both sellers and buyers negotiating on commissions in ways they simply haven't before. If sellers are in a desirable market, they might start offering less commissions to buyers agents, or none at all. On a $1 million home, a seller may save $30,000 if they don't promise anything to the agent on the other side of the deal. This would force buyers agents to get more creative. They could work for a flat rate, a flat fee, or cut their commission rate to attract price sensitive clients. Some might offer varying levels of service for different prices. A white glove treatment will still goes for 3%, but just setting up a few showings is a cheaper rate. Other buyers might choose not to hire an agent at all, or just get a lawyer to review contracts and make sure the transactions doesn't go off the rails. As for home prices, I'm not convinced they'll actually drop as a result of this settlement. It's harder to imagine a seller shaving off their listing price just because they're not offering a commission to the buyer's agent, especially if a comparable house down the street is selling for a similar amount. Sales have slowed down with higher mortgage rates, but the seller still has the upper hand in most parts of the country. The NAR still pay out a staggering amount of money to the class action members and their lawsuits, but that $418 million pales in comparison to the billions of dollars in damages that the NAR and other major brokers were facing as part of these lawsuits. In the first case in October, the jury slapped the NAR and its co-defendants with $5.3 billion in damage. And also doesn't mean that the organization is off the hook just yet. One of the Department of Justice will think of this proposed settlement, which still needs approval from the federal judge. Earlier this year, the department threw its support behind the idea of decoupling, or just having both sides pay their agents separately. It has made it clear that it doesn't want sellers offering compensation to buyers agents. Instead, it proposes an alternative in which sellers don't promise. Okay, what just happened? I didn't even do nothing. What's going on? Stay still. Instead of propose an alternative in which sellers don't promise, and buyers can still make offers that are contingent on getting some money back so they can pay their agent. I pay you $500,000, but you give me back $15,000 so I can cut a check to my broker. The key difference is that the amount requested is negotiated between the buyer and their agent, not set by the seller. So it seems like the newly announced settlement could fall short in the eyes of the department, but even in the DOJ isn't able to push for more changes. The settlement could usher in a new era for the industry, which is one in which buyers and sellers no longer default to the standard commission rates that have prevailed for decades. This settlement isn't the end of the saga. The experiment is just the beginning. So yeah, we have so many cases where you got, let me just go ahead and take this off. Yeah, so that's what they're doing. I hope y'all really pay attention, because these opportunities are starting to come up. You see people's going through this agonizing everywhere you turn. You getting hit, you getting slapped, you getting beat up. So yeah, it's that time of the season, y'all. Let me just close these other ones out so I have too many tabs open. Yeah, close that out. Seen that. We seen that. We just seen that. So here we go. The U.S. banks with the highest exposure to commercial real estate. So yeah, this is, if you don't know what's going on, a lot of these businesses and companies are shutting down. These are the companies that house these businesses. You got companies like TJ Maxx, been around for a long time. They're finally closing down. They're closing down permanently. You got Joanne, the arts and crafts company. They filed for bankruptcy. So you're looking at all of these commercial real estate really about to take a major hit, and you're, like I said, you're dealing with weather issues. You're dealing with the financial system being so rigged. And all of these companies took advantage of that. They all capitulated to the system, and they all took advantage of all of us. Every single one of them, And there was nothing that we can do or we can build because, for one, we weren't together. But, we didn't have the empowerment. We didn't have the tools and the resources and the capital and the access, and not to be met with any, what is that? What do I want to say? With any opposition. Like these companies was able to build what they became and who they are because nobody in Compton was, debating them or rebuttaling any of this. Inglewood, Philly, New York, like none of these, Chicago, all of these companies have massively, all of these commercial real estate companies, they own a lot of the land or the buildings that you live in or you work out of. So when we go down the whole list, you got Bank OZK, Home Bank Shares, Pacific Premier, International Bank Shares, New York Community, Independent Bank, Valley, the list goes on. Just know that these companies are taking on major hits, and it's putting a lot of any of the economy in jeopardy. And all of this is supposed to happen. So, great glory to the mighty one, because, the chickens are coming home to roost. People tired of being duped and hoodwinked and bamboozled and not getting any fair handshake out of any of this stuff. So yeah, it's a major diabolical issue that we got to get past. So yeah. Yeah, they talk about sellers returning to the market. Sellers are seemingly coming out of the sidelines and getting ready to list their properties on the market. Real estate platform Redfin said on Friday, even as buyers remain wary of elevated mortgage rates and high prices. New listings jumped to their highest levels since September, increasing by almost 4% last month for the year. They were up by close to 15%. Part of the reason are now willing to get into the market is that they have now come to terms with the high interest rates. The housing market is nothing like it was 2 years ago. It never was, because we weren't involved in it. Y'all was taking advantage of all of us. So it never was like it was for us. We had to go through so much red tape. When I was sitting there, I was working with this brother. He was a GE, general contractor, man, solid brother, And I had went to one of the buildings, and I was learning so much from him. I shot him out. And he took me to one of the buildings that, you got to go and get permits and stuff like that. And this dude was legitimate, he wasn't doing none of that, bad contractor stuff like that. But I was witnessing them mess with us like that, like we had to go through so many extra, loopholes to do all of this stuff. And then you can go inside of a lot of these houses that get fixed up and people be like, oh, it got renovated. No, how did it get renovated? And that's when you got to do your own research. Like you really, and when you're getting involved in these things, you got to look up under the hood. You got to look up under the hoods. When it comes to, when you buy your property, man, there's so much stuff that goes on. You got to go under the house. Like I'm not going to go buy no house, and I'm not thoroughly investigating every single aspect of it. You have to. Why would you put yourself in a position to just be like this and be like, Jesus, take the wheel. Jesus, take the wheel. And then you find yourself like, oh, I was built on a burial a burial ground. This was built on pollution. It was built on false pretenses. Oh, good one. In Houston, I remember watching the documentary where there was a divot in the ground, like a crater hit it, but they built all these homes in it, and when it flooded out, it just flooded all these people's homes and stuff like that. So you got to know the structure, the landscape, the topography where you live and where you reside, because now you're seeing that all of these infrastructures that they have up now are falling apart. Look at all the dams that are breaking apart. They got a dam that's like $5 billion over in Africa right now to stop and impede the Nile River. Like they're trying to stop every single river from flowing now, if y'all paying attention. But a lot of these bridges, a lot of these dams, the water is not giving a damn about your dam. And it's literally been knocking them down, knocking bridges over. And people literally are understanding that a lot of this infrastructure is completely outdated. We have not reinvented ourselves, not one bit. We just keep slapping band-aids over whatever we dealing with, whatever we got. So yes, of course, we ain't grown to no strongest capacity that we could be. Oh, make America great again. Oh, y'all want your privileges back? No, they ain't coming back. That stuff is gone. Y'all can go ahead and have any of y'all great white hopes. The last hoorah. That's what you're seeing from a lot of people right now. They putting all of their chips. They're going all in now. Because they're like, oh, I cannot believe this happened to me. This has to be a fluke. Oh my God, this cannot happen. This is a horrible nightmare. No, open your eyes. It's your reality now, darling. You people did a lot unto us. All praise to the Most High. Truly. Truly. Everything that you did unto us has been coming back tenfold. Understand that part about this. The Mighty One is not playing with any of us. He wasn't. We had to go through our own cleansing of all of this to get ourselves right. Many of y'all used to just sit by and laugh at our pain, laugh at our anguish, embarrass, humiliate us, mock us, do all these things that was just so unnatural and inhumane. And you guys did a lot. Y'all used to throw our babies in rivers and lakes as crocodile bait. Y'all used to skin us alive while we were alive and made leather shoes out of our skin. They don't want to talk about these things like that, huh? And I think because of everybody being scared because of retribution, people think that we're going to come back and do all of that horrible, disgusting, nasty, foul stuff y'all did unto us. Nah. Vengeance is the Lord. And as you can see, for the last 4 years, since 2020, March 3rd, the world has not been the same. Every single one of you guys who have laid your hands on this beautiful skin of the chosen ones. Anyways, mortgage rates have, let me make sure I like that in 2 years. The housing market is nothing like it was 2 years ago, the pandemic. Like, the housing market is nothing like it was 2 years ago during the pandemic home buying frenzy, but it's better than it was last year. It's coming back. Yeah. Not for y'all. Not for y'all. Get that right. Let's clear it up. Sellers who were on the fence in 2023 are now listing. That's because the wells have dried up. It's getting bone dry. They're more used to elevate rates now. There still aren't enough listings to quench pent-up buyer demand, but it's getting better. Mortgage rates have soared to a peak of 8% in the fall, which kept buyers away from the market as they struggled to afford the home loans lenders were offering. Man, these people were trying to hike up everything. On the flip side, sellers, a significant number of whom owned cheap mortgages, balked at giving them up to enter a housing market that would demand more in monthly payments. This froze the existing housing market, which essentially collapsed in 2023 and stifled supply. So, yeah, this is what's been happening, y'all. People with quiet as kept, people are not talking when you're going to your local Walmart, when you're going to your local Costco, when you go to your gas station and you see somebody in a big old Hummer and they put $5 in there. I saw it. I just saw it yesterday. Dude put $5 in a Hummer. H2. H2. $5. So you trying to really keep up with the Joneses, huh? By all means, huh? You don't want nobody to see you in your embarrassment, huh? A lot of people gonna see a lot of egg on their face this year. It's just gonna smack them. It's gonna get all in there. You Jews and Gentiles did so much craziness, and y'all still that stubbornly arrogant and denial delusional, thinking that y'all can just get away with what y'all was doing. Nah. The mighty one is always watching. And you've been watched. As much as you was watching us, y'all spent your whole blessing trying to destroy us. Every single aspect. Chattel slavery, Jim Crowism, civil rights, syphilis, crack epidemic, Willie Lynch letters. You can't read. If you're not working, then you go to jail. And when you go to jail, you become back a slave. Y'all set up all of these systems to hurt people for what? Y'all found a sick enjoyment in all of these things happening to us while we sat there and lived in horrible projects across this whole country, dilapidated communities. Regardless if we'd have put our own energy and emphasis on the infrastructure of that, none of us own those buildings to even want to even partake in even dealing with them. So yeah, they looked at ugly and horrible because they're decrepit, because yeah, in the disparaging time of a curse, you think all is lost. It's hard to hold on to that faith of a mustard seed. Shoot, you going through that, you ready to give up and call it quits. That's the easiest thing, is just to clock out and tap out, right? But the Heavenly Father is so good. And when you step into this truth, you can't be scared of it. Because the truth is holding you accountable. It's holding you responsible. And it's letting you know that, hey, you must accept and take accountability. Housing supply finally started recovering in a meaningful way, which is great news for buyers. No, it's not. So yeah, you're seeing house prices and people living in their cars. Like I said at the beginning, you got people that are going to work and driving off and going to live in a desert. Stank booty and all coming into work. Stank booty coming into work. Ain't got nothing to show for him. Lost everything trying to keep up with the Joneses. Got a $600 Hummer note on top of everything else. Yeah, you're done. It is what it is. So yeah. It's another one right here we're going to probably tap off and end it right here. We got another one. So been on here for 2 hours. We'll take a break, come back to it later. But government approves millions for hydrogen electric rail technology of the future. Only very few rail lines in the U.S. are electrified. So y'all plan on doing this with Caltrans. Swiss rail manufacturer Stadler and the state of California agreed to a $127 million deal in February that will lead to the construction of 6 additional zero-emissions hydrogen-powered passenger trains. The contract supplements the initial partnership the two parties agreed last October for 4 trains worth $80 million and the option to acquire 25 extra train sets. Oh, like it's just a true train set for Christmas. Oh, y'all got all this material and all these products, and y'all never want to just do the work to get the work done. So you can be like, it's always been caught up in red tape or political banter where things just never move, especially with us. It never moved. Y'all made sure that we would never move in any direction the right way. Regardless how much we had a fail-safe plan laid out for us, nah, y'all did everything to just sit there and douse any little ember that we had. Anyways, the contract initial part. So yeah, you know what they're trying to do? You know, they see you're putting trains on horrible train tracks, and you're getting different. Like, really? Like, these are the things that people think that they can sit here and do and avoid doing the work that needed to be done, even in the first place, for it to be sufficient. Man, they built those railroads 400 years ago. I'm exaggerating. But, hey, it's that old. Are you going to eat a 400-year-old pack of gum? I doubt that. I'm not. I don't want to get on no train that is rolling on some raggedy railroad track that ain't nobody got out there in that hot ass sun to realign it. Now you got things like this and like that and just all over the place. Now you find yourself in a really weird predicament. You know, it really has come to that, you know. So yeah, man, I want to appreciate everybody that tapped in and chimed in. We're about to just